Welcome to Scramble Game Show. You've probably seen as the starting that on my table that there's a bunch of boxes and games and toys. It looks like a commercial, but it is not a commercial. These are donations that we received for our tournament in next month during the school recess. Now, I have them spread here just to show people what sort of prizes that we have received. We've been doing this a few times already, and every time we introduce a few contributions that we received, and certainly we appreciate their contribution for this game tournament and game show that we conduct. Now, before we get to that, I'd like to tell you, audience, this week in the Somers School District that we had a so-called seminar day. It's a very elaborate event, once a year that the school has many sort of seminars and workshops. The school, high school is dedicated that day for the seminars. Now, why I want to mention this because this week, this keynote seminar talk is Rachel's Challenge. Some of you may have heard of it, Rachel Challenge. Rachel Scott is a girl who was tragically, unfortunately, killed in this high school shooting at the Columbine High School in Colorado, many years ago. But this talk is about her and of course relates to this incidence of shooting, but mostly about her as a person who wanted to make an impact to the world as a little girl. And the presentation was very well done, and I had a fortune to be sort of invited and sit into the presentation. In fact, I sat through more than once because first of all, I have several kids in school. Secondly, that when they offered to the parents in the evening, and I was there again with my youngest kid who's not in middle school or high school. Now, the 5 challenges that based on Rachel's story is very, very powerful. It's simple but very powerful. And I would like to sort of repeat that in our show because I am so moved. The first challenge is find the best in others as a way to eliminate prejudice. And that is so, so important today in our society, today in our world, okay? So that is written throughout Rachel's diary and her sort of interaction with her peers in school and so on to show that is what she believes in. And the second challenge in this, this talk entitled Rachel's Challenge is Dare to Dream. And she certainly believed in that, and she certainly believed she can make an impact to the world. And even as a young girl, she has written about that's what she's going to do. Now, Dare to Dream means you really have to have a goal in mind, and she has a goal, and then encourage people to write down your goals. And this is the second challenge on this Rachel's challenge. And the third one is choose positive influences. And that's also so important nowadays as we are exposed to many influences, okay, in the society, in the world, in the media, everywhere. And obviously, not all influences are positive. And for instance, this Columbine shooting, the 2 boys that killed 12 students and 1 teacher were influenced by violent movies and games they play, and as well as they somehow worshipped Adolf Hitler as their heroes. So this third challenge of choose positive influences is so important. Then the fourth challenge is kind words and doing kind things and say kind words to people, and seem to be very little, but it would have a huge effect. In this presentation, it showed when Rachel was in the school and interacted with other students, for instance, with some disadvantaged kid was bullied by others and so on. She stood up and she really, tried to sort of help the situation and say nice things to the person who's affected and so on, and show warmth to new student that come to school who sits alone in the cafeteria, nobody pays attention to them and so on. Those things make huge differences. Now, finally, the fifth challenge is to start a chain reaction, as according to her words, by expressing compassion, okay? And show a little compassion and start a chain reaction. In fact, she wrote, you'll be surprised at how this chain reaction will go, how far it will go, how much impact it will make. It's just amazing for a little girl that would have that kind of sort of a wisdom and be sort of firm about it in her belief, how she should, conduct her life and so forth. And such tragedy that she was killed. In fact, in her diary, she actually, for some strange reason, had felt that she would not, live long, but she will make a big impact to the world. So this presentation has been going around, of course, several years. Particularly this presenter, his name is Cody, has done this for 2 years already, and I think it's so tremendous and it's such influence to our young people. So I felt compelled to repeat this here, and I hope some of you who have listened to it will agree with me. It's really a compelling story in the presentation. At the end, of course, they ask all of us to accept Rachel's challenge by signing on a big banner. There's a banner in high school and middle school, and then for kids and students and parents to sign their names to support and accept this challenge. So that was the highlight of this week, and certainly it's a highlight in my life. I feel very, very inspired, and particularly when the presenter said that all of these challenges, things that you do not have to begin at a particular age. No matter how old you are, okay, as old as I am, still can do the right things, do the things that is prescribed in these challenges. So that's somehow I felt it's important, and it's fortunately that I had a chance to listen to this and more than once. Okay, that is a little story and about this school seminar that happened in this week. And I certainly believe that this is going to be a great impact for many, many kids in our community. Now, let me come back to the table surrounding me, these colorful stuff here. And as you know, we run this tournament, we run this TV show for the purpose of stimulating kids to learn and to build a good habit of learning, okay, by playing good games, okay. I mentioned before in this presentation, Rachel's challenge, they did say that these violent games just doesn't help people. In fact, in this third challenge, it says choose positive influences. It has a subtitle saying that what goes in comes out. If you sort of input more violent stuff, it's going to come out of your behavior and your actions, okay? And that's so true. So here we want people to use their brains and focus on very good games. The games are educational, okay? Now, on my, let me start maybe a little game here, okay? On this table, see all these colorful little wood chips type of thing, and they actually make little, they call it worms. And this game is invented by an inventor who has passed away. So the game actually was introduced in memory of him and by the name Alex Randolph, okay? Now this little game is for younger kids. It's a sort of a counting game and a strategy game, and it's called Warm Up. Spells W-O-R-M-U-P, not A-R-M, okay? Warm Up means it's a race for the worms to raise up to the finish line, okay? As you can see, this little thing here. Now there's some obstacles, there's numbers, and these cards you can select, okay? Now this can be played, as you can see, up to 5 people, that you inch up your worms to the finishing line according to the numbers you picked, and you have to do, for example, moving 1 up, or 2 up, 3 up, and so on, okay? So it's interesting that this game must be very well received internationally. I had several language descriptions in my hand here, except I'm missing the English one, and my German is so rusted now I can't really do anything here. This game, if you're interested, you can probably look it up on the website and to see, and this will be one of the presents prizes we'll give out in our tournament next week. Next week is April 8th, okay? We're going to have our Scramble-Scrabble joint tournament in the Somers Library at Reese Park, okay? From 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock p.m. We will have some light, refreshments or pizza or some snacks that providing for kids, because when people concentrate in playing these games, you get hungry, all right? So that's the warm-up, okay? Now, on my left side here, I have a game, it's by this Totem, it's a trademark. It's a construction game, very cleverly done, is cardboard pieces, okay? They make more things, of course. They make as big boxes as a dollhouse, but all made of cardboard materials, cardboard boxes. So these little cardboard pieces can be used as construction piece to build objects, and you can build a lot of things, and airplanes, houses, battleships, and all kinds of stuff. And this company is from Holland, okay? And if you want to go to their website, it's www.hipfromholland.com, okay? It's very interesting. Now, I didn't open up because I only have one, okay? If I receive more than one, sometimes I will open up the game so that I get a sort of a idea how it is played. All right. Now, this next one also, I only have one copy and I didn't open up. It's a very interesting learning game. It's a really reading. And this is a side word game, okay? You have all these side words. You play this board game, as you can see. It's a regular board game design, but you have all these up to 26 alphabet cards and 284 sight word cards and some game pieces and so on to play this game. So it helps children to do sight reading. So this is an interesting game, and that will be a prize for our tournament as well. Okay? Now, let me say a little bit about this tournament again. When we say we have a Scrabble and Scramble joint tournament, it means really we have two tournaments that can go sort of a concurrent. Okay? Why they are sort of run together? Because, as you know, some of you played Scramble, you know. The Scramble game is a word game that you play simultaneously. You can build words longer and longer and get higher score and so on. But that process really is very, very helpful in developing, okay, the vocabulary, spelling, and counting and so on. But those are the essential skills also required in Scrabble game to make you a really good Scrabble player, okay? In fact, many of the games that are created in the Scramble series specifically helpful in helping Scrabble to develop, for example, the 7-letter word skill, okay? As you know, 7-letter word in Scrabble is called bingo and gives you 50 points bonus, and that's very, very important. And how do you sort of develop this 7-letter word, skill? And obviously people say, you've got to memorize 7-letter word in the dictionary. And that is not easy, okay? It's easily said than done. And particularly, even you know the 7-letter word, when the letters are scrambled on your rack, you may or may not be able to recognize them, okay? There are several websites that help people to do this, and this is also very, very interesting. You can do this by working on a computer, dealt to 7 letters, and you see how many 7-letter words you can make. And you'll be surprised that some combination of letters can have as many as 10 different 7-letter words. And in that few seconds, when you play Scrabble under a so-called tournament competition, it's under time pressure. Your brain has to scramble to come up with those 7-letter words, okay? And that's not easy. So the Scramble game really gives you that opportunity, okay, to train your brain to scramble the letters and make words quickly, okay, as you move on from 3-letter, 4-letter, 5, and longer words. And of course, we have designed games that you can play just the 7-letter word. For example, you deal 7-letter cards in your hand. We can play this Go Fish game. That is, you are asking for a letter to form 7-letter word and so forth. Okay, there are many ways that the Scramble really is complementary and to Scrabble and really, really helpful. That's why we now run this Scrabble-Scramble tournaments together. And we have a Scrabble tournament director, Miss Guest, Cornelia Guest. She is a very, very good Scrabble player, and she will be helping us and conduct the Scrabble tournament, okay? So when you register, you can register for either one, and in fact, if the time runs smoothly, you may be able to do both. And at the end, we will have, Scrabble players also can play Scramble and vice versa. Okay, remember, that's April 8th, okay? It's a Wednesday, and during the school recess, I know at least the Somers schools and the Mahapac schools are in recess. So if you're not going away, mark that down, okay? In fact, try to register as early as you can to go to our website, www.scramble.com Scrammble-Scrabble.us, okay, to get a registration form and register, or either call, fax, email, whatever. Okay, now let's come back to our other game sets. Now, on my right, the far right side here, okay, as you can see, there's a lot of colorful, very colorful these threads, okay, these like ordinary threads for doing stitches, right? Now, in fact, this game has a name you can tell. It relates to stitches. It's called Stitchopoly. Imagine you have the game called Monopoly. Take the M away, put the stitch in there. It's Stitchopoly. I don't know how to pronounce this. Okay, Stitchopoly or Stitchopoly or whatever, but it's a board game that definitely requires your interest, perhaps also your knowledge or in stitches. And this company makes this board game, and also, of course, they sells all these these threads for these stitch, So they donated this, including all of this threads. So if you win the tournament, you get the prize. If you choose this prize, and you can also get these threads. Let me just show you one. It's so very colorful threads here. And I have to admit, I was not good in sewing, although I do sew my own buttons nowadays. Everybody has to learn a little bit. Otherwise, that's the limit of my skill. So you get this along with the prize, okay? And it's made by a company called DMC USA, DMC-USA.com, okay? And you can go onto their website to see how this board game works. And I only have one, so therefore I cannot really open up and play. All right. Now, then next, let's switch a little bit from stitches now to this little tiny bug called hex bug. Okay, and it's put in this hex box here. This little tiny bug, it's a micro robot. It's very interesting, okay? And I like the fact that it always says battery included. I always like games that it was batteries included. You don't want to go open it up and say, oh, I don't have the battery, I can't play, and so on, right? You have to go out to get a battery. So with this, you open up, you put it out, it moves, okay? And when it hits the wall, it knows how to turn and come back and so forth. It's a very cute little bug like this, okay? And this one it's part of the newer design, okay? By the way, their website is www.hexbug.com, HEXBUG.com, okay? Now, this one with a little remote control. By golly, you could actually control these little buggers and move them, okay? Move forward, backward, turn, and so on and so forth. It's very, very fun for kids to play, okay? And these micro robots, of course, involves a lot of engineering into this. And I think some people probably know there are game companies actually promote robot building, including the famous Lego company. There's a Lego robot, contest, right? So these games, you'll be surprised, leading kids into sort of a positive, direction, utilizing their brains, their energy, and their creativity. Okay, certainly. Little thing like this involves a lot of design, ingenuities here, engineering design, as well as electronics and so forth. All right? So I was very, very happy that I think we received actually 3 contributions from hexbug.com. And I only have 2 here displayed, but I think there's another one, okay? So I am sure if you aiming to get that, you better, practice your Scrabble or Scramble games and see whether you'll win this, okay? All right. Next is this called Baleo. Baleo, okay? Very, very interesting, Baleo. It's just a pen, all right? It's a pen made by this Spyderco company, Spyderco, okay? It's a pen that designed, also as a toy. In fact, it comes with a little CD, okay, or DVD. You play that, you will see how many ways you can use the pen, okay, to write and play. Now, there are pictures on the back side here. See, the back side, it shows the ways you hold the pen and the ways you write, and it develops a lot of finger tricks that amazing how you could twirl these 3 arms of the pen around. There are 3 arms here, 1, 2, 3, okay? And make interesting movement, okay? Let me tell you the website so you could actually see. I think there's some even video on the site. Perhaps you can, go watch. So the website is www.balio is BALIYO.com, okay? And makes this interesting pen. When you fold it together, it's just like a pen with a little, handle. And when you open up, it can do many, many things, okay? All right, let me just leave that here. Balio. All right, so we got through pretty much 6 games now so far. Though this is another game here, which I will show probably with a little more time, because first of all, it just arrived yesterday in the mail, and it has 2 copies, and therefore I was able to open it up, okay? And let me do this, open this up, show you, to share with you. Now, this game is called Wise Alec, okay? Wise Alec. Now, Wise Alec, it indicates or implies this is a smart, right? Wise Alec, a smart sort of a game here. Now, and it's an educational game because it has these question and answer similar to the Trivial Pursuit-like type of a game. In those kind of games, you have question and answers, but this is designed for children for learning, okay? Let me read a few paragraphs, and then perhaps I can share some of the things with you later on, okay? Now this, let's skip the commercial statements because, or some of these promotional statements. I want to get to the meat of it, okay? The meat of it is that this game won a lot of awards, and it's truly a educational game. Where is that the pieces that I was looking for? Well, maybe it's in the boxes. Okay, let me just simply open this up. Okay. Wow, very colorful board, okay? you probably can, I could briefly show you, and I'll put on the board, on the table. Okay? Now, this question and answer has few decks. This deck is labeled science. Obviously, it's got question and answers on scientific or science-related questions. This deck is labeled spelling. Obviously, relates to words. And this deck is labeled as history. Okay? And then this is the Wise I Like Cards, which is introduced in this board game so that you have some kind of a variety of things happening and so far, make the game more interesting than just pure learning. Now, let me just open up, okay, this box here. Whoops, don't have nails. It's a little problem. Oops, it's well packaged. Let me see whether I can use something. Really tight. Ah, I got it. All right. Now, the questions are designed with, each card has two parts. One is an easy one is a hard one. When you move on the board, land on a place, and you're supposed to pick a card and read a question and give the answer, there's the easy one, which worth 3 points, and hard one worth 7 points. So you, of course, win points. And there are many ways to play this. You can have a group of people say, well, whoever gets 100 points wins. That's certainly one game. Or you can play it with no limit and play by time. How many minutes, then stop and see how many points you win. Okay? Let me just give you an example what this question may be. I just picked the first one. Says, what language did the Romans speak? Okay, this is in the history pack. And this considered as a hard question. 7,